In the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon, Linda Thompson, a single mother in her late 40s, was known for her calm and gentle nature. After losing her husband years ago in a car accident, she had devoted her life to raising her only daughter, Sophie, who was now in her final year of college. Linda worked as a nurse at a local hospital. Her life revolved around her work, her daughter, and her small garden behind the house. Sophie, a bright and ambitious girl, was studying psychology and often brought her friends home, especially her boyfriend, Ethan Miller. Ethan was polite, helpful, and seemed like the kind of young man any mother would want for her daughter. He always greeted Linda respectfully, often helped her carry groceries, and even fixed things around the house. Linda appreciated his manners but never really knew much about his life outside the few hours he spent visiting Sophie. One chilly Saturday morning, Linda decided to surprise Sophie with breakfast. Pancakes, orange juice, and Sophie's favorite, strawberries with cream. She knocked on Sophie's bedroom door but got no reply. Thinking her daughter was still asleep, she quietly opened the door. But Sophie wasn't there. Instead, she saw Ethan, sitting on the floor, holding something small in his hands. Linda froze. Ethan looked up, startled, clearly not expecting anyone to walk in. But what truly surprised Linda wasn't that he was in the room, it was what he was holding. A photo album. The same one that belonged to her late husband, an album that had been tucked away in the closet for years. Ethan quickly stood up, looking embarrassed. I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson. I didn't mean to intrude. Sophie went out to get some coffee, and I was waiting here. I saw this old box and curiosity got the better of me. Linda blinked, processing the moment. That album, where did you find it? It was under the bed, Ethan said gently. I didn't know it meant something personal. I was just looking at the old pictures. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. She could see genuine remorse in his eyes. She walked closer and took the album from his hands. The pictures inside showed her husband, Mark, smiling beside their younger selves, their wedding day, Sophie as a baby, and family trips to the lake. Linda sat on the edge of the bed, the weight of memories washing over her. Ethan stood quietly, his hands in his pockets. You remind me of him, Linda said after a long pause. Mark. My husband. You have the same calm eyes. Ethan smiled faintly. Sophie told me a lot about him. I wanted to know more. He sounds like the kind of man I hope to become one day. Something in those words touched Linda deeply. She hadn't heard anyone speak about Mark with such sincerity in years. When Sophie returned home a few minutes later, she was surprised to see her mother and boyfriend sitting together, flipping through the old album. What's going on? Sophie asked, half laughing. Ethan looked up, a bit nervous. I found the album. Your mom was just telling me about your dad. Sophie's expression softened. She sat beside them and smiled. You're lucky, Ethan. Dad was amazing. He used to tell me bedtime stories that went on for hours. For the next hour, the three of them talked, not just about the past, but about life, family, and love. Over the following weeks, Ethan became more than just Sophie's boyfriend. He became someone Linda trusted, almost like a son. He helped her in the garden, accompanied her on errands, and often checked on her when she had night shifts at the hospital. One evening, Linda returned home late, exhausted after a 14-hour shift. She found the house clean, the dishes done, and dinner waiting on the table, pasta with a note. Greater than, dinner's ready. Get some rest, Ethan. She smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in years. A few months later, Sophie graduated. It was a bright, sunny day filled with laughter, pictures, and tears. Linda sat in the audience, proud and emotional, watching her daughter walk across the stage. After the ceremony, Ethan approached Linda with something in his hand, a small box. Mrs. Thompson, he said respectfully, I wanted to talk to you before I talked to Sophie. Linda raised an eyebrow, smiling knowingly. He opened the box, a delicate silver bracelet. It belonged to my mom, he said. She gave it to me before she passed away and told me to give it to the woman I truly admire. I wanted to give it to you, for always welcoming me like family. Linda's eyes filled with tears. She hadn't expected that. I don't know what to say, Ethan. Thank you. Ethan shook his head. No, Mrs. Thompson. Thank you. You've shown me what real family looks like. Later that evening, after the graduation celebration, Linda sat alone on the porch, watching the sunset. Sophie joined her, resting her head on her mother's shoulder. Mom, Sophie said softly, Ethan really looks up to you. He says you remind him of his own mother. Linda smiled. He's a good man, Sophie. Hold on to that. I will, Sophie whispered. And Mom, thank you for everything. For always believing in me. Linda kissed her daughter's forehead. That's my job. Years passed, and Sophie and Ethan eventually got married. It was a small, beautiful ceremony at the same lakeside where Mark and Linda had taken their family photos years ago. As they exchanged vows, Linda stood among the guests, holding that same silver bracelet on her wrist, the one Ethan had given her. She felt proud, peaceful, and grateful. That night, while looking at the stars over the lake, she whispered a prayer for Mark. Greater than, he would have liked you, Ethan, she said quietly. You turned out just like him. And for the first time in years, Linda felt that her family was whole again. Moral of the story. Sometimes, life surprises us not with what we lose, but with what we find in unexpected moments, kindness, respect, and the reminder that love can exist beyond boundaries.